Atop the quarterback rankings, we discussed it yesterday. Patrick Mahomes 1, Aaron Rodgers 2, Tom Brady 3. As we take a look at the rest of the top 10, Josh Allen cracking into the top 5 after a huge year. Even though he's never won a playoff game, the change of scenery moves Matthew Stafford up to 6, above players like the Cowboys' Dak Prescott and former MVP Lamar Jackson. So wanted to ask the crew here, a little game we'll call overrated or underrated. Lewis, Dak Prescott rated at 7 in the league. Is he overrated or underrated?
Yeah, he's underrated right there. I think, and the sticking point is going to be, why is he below Matthew Stafford, who's sitting there at 6, given when you look at both the play on the football field when watching the tape subjectively, and you look at all of Dak's stats, particularly over the past 3 seasons, he's right up there in the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the NFL overall. So yeah, he's underrated. And if he comes back healthy this year, I would expect him to pick up right where he left off last year before he got hurt. Tremendous talent inside, outside the pocket, dual threat capability as far as being able to throw and run the football. He deserves to be higher.
Sam Acho, Justin Herbert is at 9. Overrated or underrated?
He's way underrated. Justin Herbert is phenomenal going into his second year, but he's got an unbelievable head coach in Brandon Staley, a guy who coached me. He's an offensive genius. Yes, he's known for his defensive prowess, taking the LA Rams to the #1 defense not long ago, but Brandon Staley is going to put Justin Herbert in positions to be great. 9 is way too low for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I think the Chargers may have something special working there. Meanwhile, Jeff, back to you. Tom Brady at 3. Overrated or underrated?
Greeny, I say slightly underrated because I think he should be at number 2 behind Patrick Mahomes, but ahead of Aaron Rodgers. I say that not because of his skills on the field. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is a superior on-field quarterback, but instead what Tom Brady brings to an organization on and off the field. Midway through the Bucs season, they had some turmoil. They were trying to figure things out. I don't know if there's another person on the planet, maybe other than Mahomes, who can get the team back on track the way that Tom Brady did at that moment. I think that that's the important factor here and why I would have him number 2 instead of number 3.
And as we bring everyone else in, maybe the most important thing to remember here, Jeff, and you brought this up earlier, is that all the same people who were voting on this in Jeremy Fowler's poll, these are all people who have what in common?
Well, they didn't take Tom Brady. Like, if all these people are being polled saying that Tom Brady is the number 3 quarterback in the NFL, and we blindly asked them a year ago, hey, you could have the number 3 quarterback in the NFL, do you want him? All of those people essentially are saying, no, we don't want him. Because look, I get there's some teams that are going to, for whatever reason, go with their guy. The Raiders, for instance, had internal talks, decided that Tom Brady was not good enough to be an upgrade on their team where Derek Carr was the quarterback. Clearly they weren't pulled, because if they're saying Tom Brady was the number 3 quarterback and didn't go after him a year ago, I can't explain that one for you.
What do you think, Sacho?
Yeah, I think Tom Brady, I like him at 3 personally. I like him at 3 just because he struggled a little bit early on in learning Bruce Arians' new scheme. Obviously, Bruce Arians and Tom Moore, who's a genius offensive mind over in Tampa Bay, is brilliant. And so it took Tom Brady some time to find that scheme and find his rhythm. Yes, he found it. And yes, he won a Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers, as we talked about earlier, is a phenomenal arm talent. And many people here and around the world would pick Patrick Mahomes to go and win them a game. And so I like Tom Brady at 3, and I agree. I don't understand why people would pass on him if you have an opportunity to go get one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game.
Well, but I think, Lewis, it actually illustrates a point, which is that a year ago, we did not see this coming. Anyone who tells you, oh, yeah, Tom Brady, when he signs in Tampa, he's going to be even better than he's been before. He's going to be the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. This is the proof that people did not believe that a year ago.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And I think also it is proof that this game that we all love in football really is dependent upon what is around you as far as your own individual performance. You can't just do it alone. And Tom did look different in New England. Why? Because he didn't have the same kind of surroundings that he had in Tampa Bay. And it did make a big difference. It made a big difference in terms of how effective he was. It made a big difference, I believe, in his mindset. He played much freer. He played much looser. He seemed to have a much more of a give-and-take relationship with both Byron Leftwich and with Bruce Arians. And all of that stuff translates to the football field in raw, hard numbers. And Tom's numbers were much better this year. So I think that, and he's one of those people who will actually also tell you that he's also the product of his surroundings, and he has not done this all alone. And I think that's the great part about football, although we try to make it an individualized sport. It's not. But I think, look, if you looked at it from that standpoint, if you just looked at this ranking, if this ranking was strictly just about individual talent, as far as, stacking all these guys from arm talent to leg talent to just ability to make plays on their own and make something out of nothing, Tom probably wouldn't be that high. There would be some people who are below him that you would put above him. But it's not just about that, and that's why he still is being considered one of the top 2, 3, 4 best quarterbacks in this game.
And that's why at the age of 44, his team is a favorite to repeat as Super Bowl champs. We'll take a quick break as Jeremy Fowler doing all these different positions, including running back. We'll show you where Ezekiel Elliott comes in and why the Cowboys desperately need him to prove everybody wrong. That's next. This is